Yeah, rear-wheel drive is definitely fun in its own ways, but deep down I really like front-wheel drive, just being able to blast out of corners. And you know, on the Honda you can just go whap, 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 whap. This you can't really do that. I'm still a Honda guy at heart.
When I was 16 or 17 years old, Jonah 17, my first like encounter with oversteer was in a pickup truck. It was in a Mazda B2200, and I feel like a lot of people, especially here in North America, that's what we're used to. It's the, on a rainy day, you've got no sandbags in the back, and it steps out, and you have to learn to accommodate that into your life, into your daily life, right? Is it too much? Is the S15, especially a Spec-R, too much for a first car? I would say yes. I would absolutely say yes. I mean, it is undoubtedly a car where it'll teach you driving dynamics. It'll teach you how to become one with the car, because you're gonna feel that rear end become very alive very quickly, and you're gonna have to learn to manage it and kind of ride that line. That's what makes the S-chassis such a fun car to drive, but at the same time, it's what can end up biting you in the ass if you're not careful. Let's start at the beginning. What was your first car?
The Honda Prelude.
How quickly did you get bored of it?
I'm not bored of it. It's just a little broken, that's all. So I'm just collecting parts and money to do it up right. For the meantime, I'm daily driving this. I am still a Honda guy at heart, but the S15 was my dream car. So yeah, this is my 1999 Nissan Silvia Spec-R. It's got a Blitz intercooler, Blitz blow-off valve, Pexi intake, HP coil packs, and Nismo 740cc injectors, along with an upgraded fuel pump. The boost controller is just temporarily for now. I got a Innovate boost solenoid that will be linked up to the Link ECU, so I can control it all from my ECU, but for now I just have a Blitz boost controller.
So you've got, like, just based on your mods alone, you've got like a huge ceiling above you in mods that you could do to squeeze out 300, 350 horsepower.
Well, right now it's around like probably 290 to 300, give or take. Depends which dyno, depends climate, right?
Especially an S-chassis, as we saw when you were at Tuner Bash getting sideways, they inherently love to oversteer. What did that feel like the first time the car kind of steps out on you? Were you freaked out, or?
Well, I'm gonna be 100% honest. I've done sim racing for, you know, the past 6 years, I would say, with the wheel setup and everything. And obviously I've driven all sorts of cars. And games like Assetto Corsa and, you know, surprisingly BeamNG Drive, it's a really physics-oriented game, really teaches you the difference between front-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive cars with oversteer and understeer. You know, I didn't really learn to drift by just spinning out a bunch of times. I was on Assetto Corsa for hours and hours. Like, I got like 1,500 hours on Assetto Corsa alone.
Wow.
So I mean, if you transfer that to seat time, that's quite a lot of seat time, right? Obviously in Assetto Corsa you don't feel the car or any of that, but there's quite a lot you can feel in like the steering. And I go between like first and third person to kind of just watch how the car handles in the game, right? So I can kind of transfer that to real life, where when the car is kicking out this much, this is when you steer it back.
Over the speed bumps, careful not to crack that authentic Greddy lip we've got on here. It's already running a Link G4, which is awesome. Sky's the limit. It's got aftermarket injectors. It's got HSD Mono Pro coilovers, same coilovers I had on my SW20. They're a little bit of a track spec kind of coilover. They're stiff. Okay, that was the last speed bump. But they work well here. Just about pushing 1 bar here. Are you getting excited about what Nissan's putting out now? Does the new Nissan Z do anything for you, or has Nissan gone the way of Mitsubishi? It's a very low barrier to entry, barrier to excellence, I should say, versus 20 years ago.
Honestly, the Prelude and this have a fairly similar wheelbase, so it handles pretty similar.
Yeah.
Aside from that, it's just like the different spring rate, suspension, like that it feels different. But power-wise, it's surprisingly, NA and turbo, they feel the exact same, even though it's like 100 horsepower difference. It's a really fun car to drive, definitely. I really like just 6-speed manual and, you know, rear-wheel drive and the setup that it has. But yeah, rear-wheel drive is definitely, you know, fun in its own ways, but deep down I really like front-wheel drive, just being able to blast out of corners. And
really,
you know,
okay,
yeah, I just
that's
Honda boy at heart.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
You know, on the Honda you can just go bop 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 bop.
Yeah.
This you can't really do that.
That's why people love them.
But no, this is, I have it set up mostly for grip. I don't have it really, or like kind of in between. So it'll grip really nice, but it'll also kick out when I want it to.
Yeah.
It really all varies in the conditions. Like in the rain, I can drift this fairly easy, but right now when it's dry out, it's kind of hard to kick it out, especially with these tires. They're a bit more, you know, grippy.
Would you suggest getting something SR20 turbo rear-wheel drive for like a first or second car, or would you say get an Integra and kind of dial your way?
Honestly, yeah,
ranks?
I would agree with that. Like Integra or Prelude will give you, like compared to a Honda Civic, or you know, even this Integra is still a lot like on the lighter end of a car. The Prelude is almost identical to this in weight. I think 100-pound difference or so. Wheelbase is very similar as well, along with like the proportions of the car, right? Like, I mean, it's actually kind of funny. I'll send you a couple of videos. People in Thailand, you can't import, I believe you can't import some cars like the Silvia. So what they do is they actually use the 4th Gen Prelude, the exact same car that I have, to build S15 Silvias, because this like part here and the windshield and everything is actually very similar to the Prelude.
Wow.
So I'll give you some videos to kind of pop
do.
up on the screen.
Yeah.
But they actually do rear end and front end conversions of S15 Silvias onto the 4th Gen Prelude.
Wow.
It's really cool. So it's kind of funny to pop the hood on one of those and see a, you know, H22 sitting under there.
Yeah.
But obviously the Prelude is a bit more of a grand tourer vehicle. I mean, back when it first came out, it was worth like, I think you can get the nicest model for around 53,000.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of money even back then, right? My cousin last night was telling me a story about one of his friends bought a Acura Integra Type R locally here for $8,000 back in the 2000s and cut the springs on it to go lower. And that's on an Integra Type R. Like imagine that today, someone cutting the springs on their Integra Type R.
You got the whole internet with pitchforks coming at you.
Right, yeah,
real
but
quick.
With Preludes, it was kind of just, you know, too expensive a vehicle.
Yeah. The Silvia S15 is about to be one of the most desirable Japanese cars in the US.
Definitely, yeah.
You have one at such a young age. Like, where do you go from here? Do you have another JDM dream car, or is this it?
Honestly, this is kind of it. Like, I really like the R32 GTR, and maybe I'll get one. But quite honestly, like, I'm gonna leave this like kind of how it is for now, depending on how long, if I want to keep this chassis or if I want to do something else with another S15. Dream is kind of an RB26 swapped S15, CD009 transmission, just everything, you know, just like 6-cylinder, sounds great.
Yeah, Mona Lisa.
Yeah, Mona Lisa basically, yeah. Right now it's just great, right? 300 horsepower almost, you know, it's a great like driver's car and you really feel it.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
Let's go for a drive. And it's as if all of the Japanese manufacturers in that golden age knew when to stop. They knew when it was time to just, hey, electronics are coming in, traction control is coming in, this doesn't have that. And we're just gonna stop production. A lot of the greats did that. The Supra 02, the NSX 05, Silvia 02, R34 GTR 02. They all kind of just ceased production at the opportune time, and it's like they knew that if they had continued production, they would have turned it to something less than desirable for the 3-pedal enthusiast, which of course, yeah, the GTR came back, the NSX came back, but they're not manual. They're filled to the brim with computers, And to a certain extent, and I was talking to my buddy Elvis about this earlier today, the R35 just doesn't have, like, speed can only carry you so far, right? And it's these cars, if we want to keep the next generation into cars, if we want to get them into cars and keep that kind of driving spirit alive, it sounds so cliche and so dumb, we need to get them behind the wheel of cars like this that really teach driving dynamics and really kind of, you can have, pardon my language, you can have a holy shit moment in a car like this, and it could really teach you and it could really get you excited about driving. Like, wow, that just humbled me, you know. I want a car that can humble me at times, and I think that's why cars like the 05 GT, 4 GT that is, have gone up in value so well, why they're so desirable. Carrera GT, same thing. Not to go on a tangent, but like cars like that don't have a lot of aids, driver aids. Thanks guys for watching. Today we were actually out shooting with Elvis from the Golden Drive, so if you want to check out his channel, the link is in the description. We'll see you guys next time.